I think that Russell Westbrook is the ultimate competitor, and I think on the basketball court, in terms of his athletic ability, his ability to score the ball, et cetera, obviously he's a plus. I would never insult him like that. But he is incredibly stubborn. And if you're Kawhi Leonard and you desperately need a quintessential point guard, that's not what Russell Westbrook is. He's a scoring machine, even though he can't shoot threes right now. He's a scoring machine. He can't be guarded one-on-one, and he's a ferocious competitor. So all major props to him in that regard. But I think that if you're going to have somebody like a Russell Westbrook, I think he'd be better suited at the Garden, because obviously the Knicks have nowhere to go but up, and he'll turn it out, and the fans will love his competitive fervor and the way he turned things up. They'd love him for that. I think you could put him in a multitude of places where his skill set would be put to better use. But I think with the Clippers, with the personality that is Kawhi Leonard, with the fact that he's supposed to close for you, with the kind of things that they've got going on there, you need a quintessential point guard, a floor general. You don't need a scorer and a ferocious competitor disguised as a point guard. You need it the other way around. You need a quintessential floor general. I think somebody like CP3 would be better for the Clippers than a Russell Westbrook. I don't believe that the Russell Westbrook being with the Clippers is an ideal situation.
Or a Drew Holiday. But I don't like this either, Stephen A. I love it. I love the idea of Russell Westbrook on the Clippers, because whatever may or may not be more ideal, let's deal with the idea of Westbrook on the Clippers, assuming, of course, it doesn't cost them Paul George, right? Is he not a guy who sets up teammates? Think about the season Paul George had with Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook knew, I got to make that guy the guy, and fed him. Paul George had his best season with him. That was with Russell Westbrook. Think about the Thunder if they could have acquired back then Kawhi Leonard. Think about that for a second. Would we think about them differently? Would we immediately say that might be the favorites to win the whole thing? Yes, well, this is what this would be. The problem with the Clippers, yes, a floor general is, as you say, who can make the offense more kind of coherent all the time and not just sort of station to station is great. But Westbrook is a dynamic, tempo-pushing, athletic, point shooting guard type playmaker. And that's really what they need. They need a dynamic playmaker. He collapses the defense when he gets to the paint. He can kick to open teammates. In Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, he has not only two high-volume scorers, but they're high-percentage scorers. They can both really shoot. And I know you can talk about Paul George hitting the side of the backboard. Can he shoot when the time comes? That's always going to be the question. But in terms of making the team better, they need dynamism at the one, right? I like Patrick Beverley. He can defend. He can hit a shot. But he's not a dynamic guard. Westbrook might be the most dynamic athletic. You call him the best athlete ever to play the point guard position. I've described him as Kobe Bryant and Allen Iverson had a baby, right? You put that guy and that kind of dynamism on this Clippers team, not to mention the intensity. Stephen A., you've lamented load management and this and that. In fact, Westbrook's stubbornness and the way he competes. Kawhi's a great competitor. So is Westbrook, but their styles are different. But I actually think this Clippers team could use some of that Westbrook style. I love this fit.
이번에 준비한 영상 시청해 주셔서 정말 감사하고 앞으로 더 흥미롭고 유익한 NBA 내용으로 돌아오겠습니다. 영상 재밌게 보셨다면 구독과 좋아요 부탁드리겠습니다. 감사합니다.